Yeah. All right, here we go. Back in it. Back in the hot seat.
Cheers.
How are you, mate? Yeah, we're great. Yeah, just fucking another day in Queensland. Just hot up here. Hot as hell. Yeah, what have you been doing?
We're not going to pretend like we haven't just been speaking for the past hour. Let's just jump right in. Let's break the mold a little bit. How about that? We do it different here at Big Photo Boys. This week, Mr. Kerr, we're going to talk about Mr. Kurtogram. I'm sorry, I should use your official title, Mr. Kurtogram. This week we're going to talk about the changing role of photographer. This was actually your suggestion, and I really liked it. You mentioned before, you might want to take the lead on this one, but you mentioned before about how just the skill set has changed now, and most photographers are just required to be so much more, whether that's, video also, producer, stylist,
Yeah.
sourcing props, booking, quoting, all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, so I think that's the way that it's kind of trending, or it has been for the last couple of years. Is that you see a job opening somewhere at a media company or at a company, and to join their media team, and the role, it'll title says photographer slash videographer, and then you read the rest of it, and it says needs to do needs to be able to
Fast
use
paced.
needs to be able to, uh, create social media assets, needs to be able to do interviews, needs to be able to use a drone, needs to be able to do some graphics, needs to be able to, book talents for shoots, needs to be able to, do flat lays, needs to be able to, and the list just keeps going. So, and then it's like, here, and the wage for that is $45,000 dollars a year, and that's what you get. And overtime is required as well for no extra cost. So it's like, it's underpaid for such a large role, but also the role that they're advertising is literally for six people's jobs. So if you divide 45,000 or 55,000 by six, how are you paying? Like, that's a whole year's wage. It's like under $10,000 you expect for each role. But I'm just finding, like, obviously I've had to adapt with understanding how to take video, how to capture video, how to use a drone, and I'm upskilling myself. But it's I don't feel it's fast enough because I'm working every single day. So like a lot of other jobs, you'll get a trade and you'll learn every kind of aspect of the trade before you even start the trade. You know, you don't get a pool cleaner at your house, which you're happy with. It's your regular pool cleaner, and then you say, "Hey, actually the electrical box on the pool needs fixing as well. So you're going to need to do the electrical work." And then it's like, it's coming to summer. We might need a shade. Hey, you're the pool cleaner. Can you actually put up a shade so that then it's a pool. It's a pool thing. Like, surely you know how to do it. And it's like, oh, and also my kids want to do swimming lessons, every Thursday and Friday. So you're the pool guy. You got to be able to do it. So I know that's a weird analogy, but I think that's kind of the way that people are expecting photographers or even videographers, in the reverse role, to be like, oh, hey, yeah, sure. Like, you can just like switch it on your camera, can't you, and just snap a few photos. And it's like, technically, yeah, you can, but it's going to be such a subpar quality that who wants to do that? Like, is that really what you want? And also, like, well, that's not included in my cost. Um, so I don't know. I'd just like to open the discussion about how, especially if you're not at an agency or you're a small team, like, you really, I mean, it happens in every industry, right? Like, maybe the graphics person, or even any role, it's like they're always four roles crammed into one until that person finally gives up and needs an assistant, or needs like another person to actually take care of like scheduling, or just a totally different role. So I mean, it's probably happened forever, but people's job descriptions just get so much bigger. And especially as I'd say media evolves, like it's like next thing, you need to be able to create TikTok videos, you need to be able to do reels, all these things. And it's like physically, you don't have the time or the team or the manpower to actually be able to deliver anything. So, and the problem is like a lot of these people who'll be hired or whatever, they just go to the next, like that person will quit, or they'll get a new client, or they'll get a new someone else to do the job that you just did, and they just keep churning through it, and then there's never any progression because they don't learn. I don't know. That's the experience that I've felt.
Yeah, and I'm glad you got to get that off your chest a little
Oh, I'm like,
bit. That's the reason though that those jobs are always, being advertised everywhere you see. It's the multifaceted everywhere social media marketing, content, photo, video, animation, graphic design,
yeah, yeah,
hybrid.
yeah.
So the first thing when you're listing all those things, I really haven't put much thought into this, but it's so true. I actually see it all the time. And first of all, how can you do? My first thought was, how can you do all of those jobs well? And then my second thought was, how can you do any of those jobs well? Yeah,
No, yeah, no, exactly, yeah. Like I'm struggling just to be a good photographer. Like I don't need to add more to my plate. Like,
yeah. So like, if you are a photographer by trade, if that's what you do and you're hired as one of these roles, all of that other stuff is going to take away from your photography. You're not going to be able to spend the time and and craft the photos that you want,
yeah,
which is your main gig, and you're going to sacrifice. Talk about jack of all trades, master of none. Like, how can you possibly be good at everything? One thing that I was thinking of when you were talking about that was I had a friend who got a job at a big. Trying to say this as diplomatically as possible. It was a big retail company that owns a lot of other companies, and they were shooting fashion, a certain type of fashion, and he was a graphic designer basically. So he was part of that team, whatever. Anyway, this company built a studio. They bought all this equipment, and they said, you know, you do a little bit of photography on the side. Why don't you become the photographer? I just said his name. After all that, I just said his name. Anyway, we'll call him. How about that?
Can you just beep it out? Like beep.
Now I've said it 3 times, but his name's not really.
Oh no.
Anyway, he won't mind. He won't mind, and I'm not mentioning the company. Anyway, through trial and error, he started to shoot this product, right? And he very quickly learnt what didn't work, and to his credit, he got the job done. By hook or by crook, he got it done. And part of what his job was to clip out the product onto a white background for the website, a proper white background. And as you know, virtually impossible to consistently photograph a fully white background. The hardest part of that as a product photographer, if you do do it in camera, you have to, every month after that when you shoot again for the company, it has to match for the website, right? That's the hardest part. So they said we need them transparent, etched, deep etched, I guess
Yeah,
you'd
yeah,
say.
yeah.
And there was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these images. And he said, yeah, I know how to do that. I can do that. And so he took that on as part of his role. And by, a couple of weeks later and staying up all night to get this done, he just realized that it's just not actually possible. And this was probably like, I don't know, 8 years ago or something. I didn't know about this then, but he told me at the time, he's like, look, my life became so stressful and so unhappy that I actually found someone overseas to do it cheaply, and I just decided I would rather pay out of my own pocket to
Yeah.
do this. Like, and so not only was he overworked and unhappy about it, he was out of his hourly wait, rate. He was paying someone overseas to clip
Mm.
these images for him. And God, I just felt so bad for him at the time. I'm pretty sure he was paying out of his own pocket. Like,
Yeah.
it had just gone too far. Maybe I will bleep his name. I'm not sure. Even though it's not his real name. Um,
Yeah.
I just felt so sorry for him, and it's like this was just so not his gig. To his credit, he took it on and he made it work, and he did a really good job. In fact, he did a better job than I would have done at the time, a much better job.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, that is just what I was
But
thinking of straight away. It's not like it's actually
isn't that
not
also
cost
the
effective.
no, no. But isn't that also the thing like that as a photographer, I have knowledge on photography, but as a photographer, I don't have knowledge on animation or proper, illustrator skills or anything like that, unless that was something I studied at school or it's an extra kind of thing that I've learned. But like again, you should be paid for that as well. Like if you do bring a bit extra, that's cool. Like, but you should be paid for those abilities, right? So it's almost like if you were hired as a photographer and then they figured out you could do more stuff than the role was, then it should be after that 3 month period or whatever like that. You reassess it and go, hey, look, I'm doing way more, or reassess and be like, hey, this role is way too hard for one person to do. And then yeah, I just don't think companies really um, they really care. Like they'll just go, well, if you don't do it, we'll get some other kid to do it for minimum wage and maximum hours.
And they will, and someone will.
Yeah, exactly. Because we all want that opportunity as well. We all want that start, and I feel like when we all start, we put our hands up for everything because we're like, hey, whatever you need, yeah, I'll try and I can do it. Or and then you'd research it and then give it a go. But what I'm talking about is probably people who are already in this role or have the knowledge, but then now they're asked to do excess, outside their scope, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I don't have the answer, but like you said, like we said before, like that is the reason why those jobs are always being advertised. That's why I always get Instagram ads, and you know, that's why I always
Yeah,
see people from adjacent circles looking for those sort of things because it's just the turnover must just be so high because of burnout, and you can only do that for so long. And
yeah,
the other thing is, I feel like in the sort of marketing world, like I suppose broadly speaking, the agency world, you'd be surprised for what passes sometimes. You tend to think like if you're charging, you know, we tend to put agencies up there, and it's like if you're an advertising agency or whatever, you think they're charging top dollar, so the product is top dollar. But sometimes it's not the case. Sometimes it's just like
it's not
how
true.
many different things can we sell into a client, and then
Yeah,
um,
yeah, that's
what's the
that
minimum
that
we can do
happens
to tick that off?
exactly. And I think sometimes, like for agencies, especially, like they'll promise so much, but then they deliver, and it's not up to a standard. So the client misses out, but they don't really know they miss out. And so money technically doesn't buy you more, um, unless it's staff. But then it's like, well, ability as well. Um, because yeah, I don't have the ability or capability to be able to do six different roles. I physically don't have the time or the knowledge as well. So that's why you got to hire other people. That's why you got to at least convince the client that hey, it's worth more because I need to bring this guy in because he's good at what he does,
Yeah.
or not guy, but yeah, person. Because she or he is good at what they do, and it's like they can do it better than me, and we work well together. You don't need to go find someone else. It's like we can handle it, we can control it. And that's also a thing as well. Like you don't always have to tell a client how you get the job done either. It's like you can figure that out yourself, and then charge them the amount that will cover that to be able to do the job.
Yeah, and I think that on the flip side of what we're talking about, that is the beautiful thing about the way that this whole industry works, is that if you can get the job done, like if you can create that final product, it really doesn't matter how it's made. Maybe it does matter a little bit more if you have someone looking over your shoulder while you're making it, because
Yeah,
again, it's a little bit of a performance. You have to justify it to them, and they have to justify it to whoever they have to justify it to.
exactly. Yeah,
But the
yeah.
truth is, um, if the final product is there, if the photo is up to scratch or the video is outstanding, then it really doesn't matter
Yeah, there's no
how it
questions
was
asked.
created.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's and yeah, if it's within the budget and looks great, then technically you get the job again.
All right, let's move it on a little bit. You already know what I'm going to say. So cliche.
Yeah.
It is so cliche. It's cringe. I'm sorry. But I really want to have this conversation with Kurt, because Kurt said something before when I mentioned it, and it just like my ears pricked up, and I really want to talk about it. NFT.
What does it actually stand for?
NFT.
Non-fungible. Right.
So, do you sort of grasp what that means?
So my understanding of it is it's something digital that holds some kind of value to someone, and that's probably why I just don't understand it, because anything that is digital can be replicated, or I just it's like a Metallica shirt, band shirt. Like anyone can print them, or like I know what the logo looks like. Why I could just photocopy it and put it on shirts. So what's the purpose?
So, let's say you had a Metallica shirt that was worn by Kirk Hammett in
Yeah.
1980, and it's got his sweat on it and his signature on it, and it's framed and it's verified by whoever the company is,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
memorabilia company. What makes that valuable to someone?
Well, for me, a lot of the time it's like it's tangibility, like it's physically in my hands, and you can't replicate that because it has those qualities, or that all that is memorabilia. Yeah, so memories tied to it. So for me, it's like it's worth something because yeah, I'm a super fan, or whatever it may be, or I'm a collector, and I know that someone else is going to pay more money for this because it's super rare. Whereas I feel like with NFTs, I don't know if anyone can make them, then how rare is it really?
So you touch on a couple of really important points. Firstly, technically speaking, that T-shirt is only worth the cloth that it's printed on, right? Technically, that's not any more valuable than another piece of cotton from a factory in Bangladesh or Vietnam or
Yeah.
China, right?
Yeah.
Technically, that piece of cotton that's got Kirk Hammett's sweat on it and his signature, that is only valuable because someone has decided that that piece of cloth with that sweat and print and signature on it is valuable.
Exactly.
And the only reason that that one is more valuable than another one, even the same, looks exactly the same with a forged signature in the same frame with a fake plaque, the only reason that that one is more valuable is because there is a way to verify it. You could take it to a professional, he could look at the two and say, this one's the legit one, right?
Yeah.
So if you can agree that both of those things are true, then basically anything in the world is only valuable if people decide
Yeah,
that
the
it
next
has
person
value.
wants to pay for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So really, and I'm, I don't know. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm going. There's probably a lot of people listening that, yeah, think this is like a bit cringe to talk about because everyone is just using NFTs as a cash grab at the moment. But I think this is the most important point about NFTs is that it's verifiably yours. So on the blockchain, connect like that NFT is minted, and the you have it in your wallet, and so this piece of art, even if it is just a JPEG, you can verify to someone that it's yours. Let's use art for an example. Like the Mona Lisa, right, is one of the most famous paintings in the world. It's hanging in the Louvre. It's valuable because of the story, because of the painter, but really it's just a piece of canvas with some oil on it. It's not actually, the material is not valuable. It's valuable because we've all decided that that's a valuable painting. So I can print out, I could go online and for $20 I could print out a copy of the Mona Lisa and hang it on my wall. But
Yeah.
everyone is going to look at that and say, that's obviously not the Mona Lisa, so that's not valuable. Whereas if I actually had the Mona Lisa on my wall and it's like everyone knew that this is the real Mona Lisa, all of a sudden that has value because you can verify that it's the actual one, right? So let's say 99.9999999% of NFTs, in my opinion, are worthless because at the moment everyone is just trying to get shit out as quickly as they can because people are buying them, right? I 100% agree with you there. But there are NFTs that do have value because of their lore, because of their history, because of the artist, and because verifiably on the blockchain, I can hold this piece of art that is created by my favorite artist. Let's say it was Kurtagram. He made this one-of-one Tiger Woods collectible NFT. And I can show people in my wallet, on the blockchain, this is in my wallet, this belongs to me.
Yeah.
No one else has this.
Yeah, so I understand that, and that's probably where, because I've seen just so many photographers lately putting up NFTs of whatever they've shot, right? For me, they're worthless because the person isn't anyone, the photographer isn't anyone. But it's just say that same photographer, ends up the next 10 years, being the Queen's personal photographer that shoots a portrait of her every day, then that's where the value becomes, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but for me, exactly at the moment, it's like I haven't really paid much attention, but it's like it just seems like a cash grab for people. So if it was me, if to start creating NFTs, guess what? I'd just be making money for the sake of it, not because I think it's going to be an investment for people in the future. It's just like another way to make income, which is
1,000,000%.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as is probably like selling prints or whatever, right? So I think that's fine. But for me personally, it's like I'm not going to invest in something that I I don't know the outcome, or there's nothing. It's like you probably got to pay good money for something that's going to be worth more. Like I don't feel like you're just going to buy some random guy's NFT images, like photographs, and then make money on it,
No.
because you're not. All you're doing is you're just funding him to be able to do whatever he wants, which is great. But that's the big thing that I don't understand. And I've seen a lot of people being like, "Oh, I've bought this," and I'm like, "Well, to me, that person's no one. Maybe to them, it's someone, but." It's like, unless you're buying Justin Bieber's, you know, personal photograph collection or whatever, yeah. How do you plan on using it as an investment?
Yeah. So you're absolutely right, and that is a lot of, I think, where the the negative perception comes from.
Yeah,
Is everyone is trying to make money. It's not about actually collecting the art. It's about how can I buy something and flip this as quickly as possible. And you're absolutely right. If you're buying from a local photographer, you're not gonna make money from it. But if you're buying it because that is a genuine
you want,
photo
yeah,
or a piece of art that you appreciate so much, then the point is not to try and flip it a week later and make money.
Yeah.
The point is to say, this is a piece by an artist that I really like, and
Yep.
I really like the fact that I can collect it and I can,
And also
verifiably show
support that.
someone. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And also support them because like you enjoy their artwork, because at the end of the day, photographs are a form of art, whether you do it every single day of your life or you're just a person who has a camera, it's still every click is art to some degree.
Making
So
something. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So
But yeah, so
there's also another layer on top of this, which I'm hoping is going to blow your mind, because it blew my mind. Have you heard of a smart contract? Do you know what a smart contract is? So when you create on the blockchain, you can make something called a smart contract, and that's basically, a script, a piece of code that says if this happens, this happens. It's like a set of rules, right? So
yeah.
I could build a smart contract into an NFT, and I'm sorry if this is too geeky for a lot of listeners here, but I think this is really important for someone who might not have heard these terms before. But I can, when I mint this NFT, I can make a contract, right? So basically, the rules of this NFT is every time this NFT gets sold, the original creator is going to get 10% of the sale. So
that's pretty cool.
yeah. So let's say I
so
sell
it's just
this.
royalties, right? They've
Exactly. Well, basically,
the smart
yes.
contract allows you to get royalties, because it wouldn't be every time someone views it, but yeah, it's when someone else sells it, then you still have the original ownership of the image or the NFT. Yeah.
Yeah, so think about what we've just been talking about, how people are buying them just to try and make a quick buck, right? So try and flip them a day later for twice what they paid. Imagine, it sort of is going against what the purpose of the original artist, I would hope what the intention was, is that, collecting the person's art, they're not actually interested, they're trying to make a quick buck, and they keep selling it on, and maybe the price is going up, but that does nothing for the original artist. This is just like people trying to make money, right? So every time it's sold on, automatically, without anyone having to verify or send you the money, in that smart contract, every time that gets transferred to another wallet, 10% of that new cut goes to you, gets sold for more, 10% goes to you. Pretty cool, right? It goes further than this. So like, you could also write in, I suppose, I don't even know if this is a smart contract technically, but people are doing things like, have you heard of the Bored Ape Yacht Club? That's one of the biggest NFT collections. So basically, if you hold these NFTs, you in verifying that on the blockchain, you get access to this community of basically elite people. Like Steph Curry is in there. I don't know, Snoop Dogg, Gary Vaynerchuk, Shaquille O'Neal. Like, I'm pretty sure it's a Discord channel. Bored Ape Yacht Club, it's called. It's a Discord channel where you can access these people that would otherwise be totally inaccessible.
Yeah,
but it's also a physical club. They actually have a yacht, and they have parties where if you hold this NFT, you can prove that I'm part of this club and you get to go to this party with these people. That's really cool, right?
Well, then, if you're thinking about that, like, that would be cool for a lot of industries. But, if that was like the music industry, people want to hang out with bands. That would be sick. If I just bought an NFT, essentially it's like a ticket for me to hang out with, like, people that I want to hang out with.
So let's say Northlane makes an NFT, right? They charge $10,000 for this one-of-one NFT. This non-fungible token, that basically just means it can't be replicated. Every one is unique. You buy this one-of-one thing, and that means It could mean you get automatic entry to every Northlane gig ever and a free piece of merch every time
Yeah.
you rock up. You know, like whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But this literally, the more you think about it, the more it could be built into just about anything. And it's not just about right click and save as on that JPEG and I've got that piece of art as well. There's like a little bit more to it. What's another really good one? Okay, so what about this? You know, you're a bit of a shoe guy. I know you're probably not into like Jordans and stuff, but like sneaker culture is huge, right? So basically, any pair of Jordan 1 highs that comes out, like good luck getting them at retail, unless it's a really garbage color. Good luck getting them retail because people have bots where they will just buy them out and then resell them straight away. So imagine in the future sneaker releases come out as an NFT. People are buying and selling shoes and they jack up the price, but instead of actually going and buying a physical pair of shoes, you just buy the NFT and it might be set in the contract. For example, you can't change the value of this shoe. You have to sell it for the same price. Or it could just be you can sell it for whatever you want. So I sell that to you for whatever price you want, but then you have this pair of shoes in your collection, right? This pair of shoes exists in a Nike factory or in a warehouse somewhere. When you want to claim them, you burn it or mint it or however you say. You basically, you know, let's say log on to Nike, you plug in this NFT, and someone takes the actual pair of shoes from a box in a factory and sends them to you. The NFT is destroyed, and then you get the actual shoes delivered to your door.
Yeah, well then it's a form of currency then. You know.
Well, it's just a way to verify that this real world thing is connected to you, and so you could buy and sell and collect without actually ever having to hold a physical thing.
Until you needed to or wanted
until you need it. Yeah. That's pretty interesting, right?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just hard to see a purpose still, you know? It's like I understand it and I get it, but maybe for me, there's no purpose yet. You know, it's like I don't need that. It's like there's things that I feel like I've missed in the last 10 years where I just haven't found a purpose, so I just never adapted. You know, like Snapchat, I never had it because I just didn't feel like I needed to have it. And then I'm sure, I don't even know if it still exists, but like, you know, I missed the boat, never got on the boat, and now the boat's gone. So it's like, I'm sure NFTs, they might serve more purpose in daily life, you know, just like I guess crypto kind of has, you know, where you can physically pay for things now, and it is a bit more of a currency as well. So that's why I'm like NFTs have so many different levels, whether you are trying to use it as a currency or as an investment, or you like collecting stuff from, you know, your favorite artist or whatever. So I guess there's so many different layers, and you know, especially if you are using those smart contracts and stuff, then it's like, it's not just a one trick pony. You know, it's like there's a lot more to it, which I guess is like, you know, I think you said you read The Barefoot Investor, so I think it's just more like making smart investments, like, you know, NFTs, not just making quick cash. But as far as like, if you try to bring this back to photography, that's where you are probably I feel like you have to have somewhat of an audience to be able to even sell an NFT, right? You can't just say, oh, I'm going to put up an NFT. Like, your grandma's not going to buy it unless she just wants to support you. So that's why it's like, you kind of somewhat need to be someone before you can even sell something with an NFT.
True. Although I suppose,
or if you need to know where to sell it, right? It's like, hey, I'm a painter. I can't just sell it in my street. I have to go to the market to sell it.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose that's the weird thing about the last 2 years is that people are just buying anything. That is why.
Yeah.
That's what is sort of wrong with the system. Um, but I totally get what you're saying. But I suppose, yeah, bringing it back to photography and bringing it back to you and I. You know, you still play in the Brave. You still do the band, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just
So I think the most interesting and important thing for you and I is who we both have, you know, a little bit of a following online. We're not famous by any stretch, but you know there are people who pay attention to what the things that we do online, and the interesting thing about what I think is happening with all of this technology and whatever is that it's taking away the middleman, right? So the Brave creates music and through things that haven't even been dreamt of yet regarding NFTs and similar such things, the Brave is going to be able to connect directly with the diehard Brave fans and not have someone in the middle taking the cream off the top. Not talking bad about, you know, your guys' label or anything like that. I'm just saying that I think the most important thing for us just to have in the back of our mind is that the NFT is going to connect the creator with the consumer in a very direct and interesting way that has never been seen before.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And that's probably a good place to leave it.
Now I'm just thinking too much. I'm just like, it's like, I just need to do more research and just understand what it is, you know, because again, if it's like something that can help you grow or your business grow or your family grow, then I mean, I just see it as an investment rather than a cash grab. Yeah. So, yeah. And that's the thing, like, you know, like we won't be taking photos forever. It's like sometimes you do need to think past the next year or photography, you know, to be like, hey, am I still going to be able to click that button in 20 years time? You know, what could be my future, I guess, position, you know, within the photography industry. But yeah, we can chat about that another time because I think that, you know, that's something that I've been thinking about as well lately, just the future of photography for us, you know.
Yeah. Well, I'll leave you with one thought. This is just something a little bit that I've been thinking of that I've been trying to approach it in the correct way and not as a cash grab, but I think it would be interesting. I would like to learn the process of minting an NFT and how that all works because I'm not sure. But I think it would be really interesting if, you know, let's say once a week I put out a video on a channel and I'm shooting every week with my Fuji camera. Once a week at the end of the video I put up a QR code and there's a one-of-one picture that I've taken that week. Not trying to sell it for big bucks, you know, it might be the equivalent of $10, let's say. If you're interested in following what I'm doing, following what the channel is doing, you can scan this one. If you're the first, you can collect this one-of-one photo. I'm not charging big bucks for it, but I'm going to do one a week for a year, right? There's 52, and that's the first collection, right? And then the interesting part to me is if someone is actually interested and is following the journey, you know, as I grow and the channel grows, you know, let's say the channel grows to 500,000 or 1 million or 10 million, you know, how interesting does that become if you're that person who's been collecting those small pieces since the start. Anyway, that's something that I've been toying with just to test out the process and just I think it's quite sweet. You know, we've talked about doing the zine and putting together a little album. Something like that could be quite fun, I think.
Yeah. Here we go. So tool of the week is something that you can get at your Officeworks. You can get it on Amazon. Maybe don't support Amazon, but a bunch of other places. But these things here, actually, Mum got them for me for Christmas. They're pretty cool. So all it is just literally, um,
Velcro.
Velcro.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is, being a photographer, you always have 100 different leads. Not 100, 10 max maybe, but you have a lot of, say, power leads or mic leads or anything. So you can actually, yeah, they're so inexpensive, and I feel like I've just been using them more and more, especially because they're fluoro, because I can't lose them. Whereas traditionally in band days, like, you'd have similar to this, it would be black, and you just lose it like all the time. So these are just fluoro ones, but man, yeah, they're awesome. I just yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, again, it's like cable management is, for me, it's like a big thing, and again, looking good on set. So it's like, even if you can tape some of the cables, around your C stand or whatever it is, like, just neatens it up, and you're not also wasting that expensive tape, the black gaffer
Sure.
tape.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because that stuff's expensive, and we all use it like there's an endless supply of it, but it costs us big bucks and at the end of the day. So it's like, if you can just use something as inexpensive as these, and yeah, and I just love it that they come in different colors. Like, I don't know, it's yeah, they're just a great little tool for me to have.
Awesome, awesome, love it. Very quickly, my tool of the week. Um, when this comes out, I will have it, but I currently do not have it. But I'm currently speaking to one of the guys from Desky, and I'm going to order a really cool, really big, beautiful hardwood, hopefully, sit stand desk, and I'm really excited about it. And yeah, it's going to make me really happy in my new space. I've just moved into this new office. It's not really set up. If you can hear a little bit of difference in the audio, that's why. But yeah, by the time this goes live, I'm hoping to be sitting at my new electric sit stand desk.
Yeah. So they have like the little panels on there where you just hold down a button and then it goes up and down?
Yeah, so it's got the up
Yeah.
down with precise
Oh,
measurements, but
hiding
it's
adjustments.
also
Yeah.
just got like 4 settings. So if you pick a few heights you like, you can stick them in as a preset, and it's like, that's my
Yeah.
preferred standing, that's my preferred sitting. Talk about cable management. There's an inbuilt, there's a cable management tray that runs through
Yeah.
with power boards in it. So basically, just
Delicious.
one cable will come out the bottom. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be
Love
hot.
that.
Cool. All right, mate. Thank you again so much for joining me. Yeah, episode. Oh God, I don't even remember what.
421.
Yeah, we're approaching half a year, and yeah, I'm very proud of the fact that we've been able to get it up every week. That's so cool. Despite
Yeah.
both of us living busy lives. So yeah, very proud of that. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. Thumbs up, leave a thoughtful comment, and we'll see you next time. Bye.